The TADS LLM is a global program focused on international arbitration. The idea of this program is to provide with a very in-depth education on all kinds of dispute settlement applied in the international arena.
What sets the LLM apart from other comparable degrees has to be two main elements. One, it is not your traditional LLM that you do after graduating from law school. It is an LLM that you do when you're ready to take the next step in your career with intention, and that intention being practicing international dispute settlement with experience and with a level of maturity that we ensure by requiring a minimum work experience for all applicants. Then the second aspect is that these professionals are dealing mostly with other professionals.
We have a lot of institutional workshops in our program, such as the workshop in ICSID or PCA or ICC. The ICC one takes place in the headquarters of Paris, and it gives students a great opportunity to speak to people who work here, to explain to the students how the teams, how the organization of the whole institution is placed and how the rules of these institutions are significant, what they have specific in them. We also every year have a study trip to Hague, where we go to PCA, to the Peace Palace, inside of which we have a very similar sessions with the practitioners, with the people who are working inside of the Peace Palace, explaining to us the history, the significance, the rules of this place, and why is it important and relevant to international dispute resolution.
One of the most interesting opportunities that the LLM offers in terms of career advancement is that as part of the LLM, students are required to do an internship in one arbitration practice or in one arbitration institution. They can also choose to do a thesis. The university will facilitate to the students finding that placement, that internship in the different law firms. And very often that creates the first step into the future career of the students.
What really stood out to me about the program was that the slate of professors and practitioners who had been called in to teach our course were really excellent. They were really on the cutting edge of new ideas and working on high-value disputes. And I think most importantly, they were very willing to speak to students and to offer suggestions on how one could get their career started in arbitration in Paris, which is such a competitive market. To summarize how the LLM has contributed to my academic and professional life, it really allowed me to pivot from litigation into international arbitration, not only in terms of learning the hard law, but also in terms of networking opportunities.
I think that actually the TADS LLM represented an amazing bridge between my previous background and my current position at the World Bank. All the competencies acquired here about investor-state dispute and commercial arbitration had been essential in order to get a good understanding of the practice nowadays of arbitration.
We are now entering into a new era of international litigation, where it's very important for whoever is involved in international litigation to be aware of different fields: public international law, private international law, interstate arbitration, dispute settlement before permanent courts like the International Court of Justice, investor-state arbitration, commercial arbitration, and the TADS is just about all that.
I am currently a fifth-year associate at Skadden Arps in New York. I still refer to my LLM notes all the time, and so I think it has been a huge use to me in my profession, and it's sometimes just to remind myself of the case law, of the rules in arbitration, whether it's investor state or commercial arbitration.
Part of the reason why I chose the Sciences Po LLM was that half of the course is actually taught elsewhere, meaning that you get to learn directly in the law firms, in the institutions that are here in Paris, the mecca of European arbitration, and interact and do workshops to learn concepts in practice. My current position, where I am for 5 years now in Switzerland, I have had the pleasure to meet my current employer as a guest lecturer in one of the classes that I was taking at Sciences Po. So I would certainly not be where I am right now without the TADS LLM.
The TADS LLM has been really successful from many perspectives. One of those perspectives is the origin of our candidates. We have had a third of our candidates coming from Asia, a third of the students coming from Latin America, and the other third coming from Europe, North America, Africa, the rest of the world. So this balance in the origin of our students show that it's a real global program. And if we look at the careers after the LLM, it's the same. There are many of them working in the most important law firms or institutions, but they are also all over the world. We have former students working now, applying what they learn and what they have the opportunity to know here in Paris.